Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure and honor to be here, and thanks again to Professor Manalo for inviting me to Kyoto University. As you said, I'm a researcher at the German Institute for International Educational Research located in Berlin, and I'm going to be talking about parental homework involvement, and I will be try to get the, let's say, German and Swiss perspective brought, because I could imagine that the perspective here in Japan on homework and how parents are involved in children's learning is quite different from our perspective. And please, if you have any questions in between, clarifying questions, or if about the broader German system, or maybe specifically to my research, please just let me know, and then maybe later on we can go more into the substantive discussion. I thought to give you some idea of what I do besides homework and what I've done in the past, and maybe for those of you who will join us for dinner later, you know what to talk to me about besides, I mean, in terms of work. So again, I'm in Berlin located. I have a PhD in educational psychology, so that's kind of where my heart is. At the same time, I have been trying to broaden my horizon by visiting other countries, mostly the United States. I did a research visit at the School of Education at Stanford University, and I was recently visiting Teachers College at Columbia University in New York City. And actually both of those research visits were with professors for sociology, because I'm also very interested in educational inequalities. And so I wanted to broaden my psychological perspective by engaging with sociological research. What might also be interesting, as in sort of the background where I'm coming from, I have not only spent time in academia, I've also engaged with the OECD, more specifically the Center for Educational Research and Innovation, and there I was involved in two projects on innovative learning environments and innovative pedagogies. So also trying to understand how can schools be transformed, how can schools change their practices to reflect more the kind of skills needed in our current societies. And it's very great to be in Japan and to broaden my horizon to the Japanese academic world, is in particular educational psychology. And the reason I had the opportunity to come to Japan because I will be inviting the Science and Technology in Society Forum, which will actually take place in Kyoto starting tomorrow until Tuesday, where lots of different disciplines, and actually I might be the only psychologist there, will meet to discuss global problems of the world, and to exchange with policymakers to things like climate change and several big kind of issues. Yes, and so my research interests are parental homework involvement, what I'm going to be talking about today. As I already said, educational inequalities. And when I will talk about the German system in a moment, you will see that curricular tracking is it's a very big characteristic of the German school system. So this is also why this is one of my research interests. And now more recently, I'm trying to do empirical work on innovative teaching methods, and alongside with that, the concept of adaptive teaching. So trying to find ways how classroom instruction can be catered to the individual needs of students. And usually this is done by other types of instruction rather than just direct instruction by the teacher. So please, even in the discussion later on, feel free to also ask me questions about these other topics if you're interested.